Welcome to MODS Pods, where we discuss industrial digitalization and the software solutions that put the intelligence behind how assets are managed for positive impact on business, people, and the planet. So we're here today to talk about the landscape of digital work packages. Joining us is Matthew Smith, product manager on MODS innovation team. Matt, thanks so much for sitting down to talk today.
Hi there, thanks for having me, Lisa. As you said, my name is Matt Smith, product manager for the innovation department here at MODS. Currently working on an exciting new project. However, I've spent probably the last 5 to 6 years working on MODS Connect, specifically with the WorkPack module. I've been part of development of new features, the introduction of new DWP tools, all the way through to client requirements, and also do new software versions as well. So going all the way from Virtual Manager Enterprise into MODS Connect, and then becoming MODS Connect 2.0 as we know it nowadays. I've also spent a lot of time supporting clients using the software in various regions, from the North Sea to Gulf of Mexico, and then most recently the Gulf of Thailand as well.
Well, that's fabulous. So you're clearly very experienced in everything from the back end through to the front end use. So you can speak to both the development and implementation of digital work packages,
Sure.
which is fabulous. And you also have global experience as well. So implementing digital work package software in diverse global contexts is also a very interesting thing. So we're grateful to talk to you today, and taking all of that broad body of knowledge into account. What are your thoughts as to the current landscape of digital work packages, specifically in brownfield projects, such as those offshore or other remote locations?
Well, I think it's very important. I think they provide a long list of benefits, not just to the greenfield AWP, as people seem to think, but also to the brownfield happening in the most remote locations and offshore. Some of these benefits that come to mind really is about the accessibility of data. So one of the things that we often see is the accessibility to the WorkPack deliverable, for example, specifically to the WorkPack and the project documentation to go along with that. Obviously, with this being a cloud-based software, this is instantly accessible. Now that it also removes the requirement for any sort of transportation of these documents. Like I say, as soon as that is issued as a WorkPack, it's available offshore. Now that is reducing what is typically about 1 to 2 weeks in lead time for the transport of these documents. And that extends to quick turnaround on scope growth or scope change as well, if something needs to change mid-execution. So the beach are able to get word that they need to make a change. They make those changes, and then very, very quickly the construction team get straight back to what they were doing. Of course, we've got reductions in non-productive time through the AWP constraint management tools that we offer. And again, it's sort of a better progress reporting for the beach. They can get live updates as the guys are doing the work on site.
Brownfield projects, in particular, often face a problem related to data scarcity, which can deter project teams from transitioning into the use of digital work packages. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's true that the brownfield space has a challenge in that area, often using inaccessible, unorganized, and in some cases unusable data. But MODS Connect WorkPack is kind of bridging that gap. It's a plug-and-play software, which essentially means that we can kind of get going as quick as possible. With focus on the digital work packaging sort of side of things, the prerequisites to that is some very, very light administrative data specific to the WorkPack you're writing. For example, of course, we need to create things like a project, maybe list out some resource types that we want to do some resource requirements for, and list out the man hours, some disciplines, construction work areas, stuff like that. But they can start off very, very small. And as projects grow and more work packs are written, this data grows with it. And essentially what happens is we end up with a very, very strong body of data. We're starting from very, very little, and it's growing and growing and growing over time, which is allowing us to go ahead and do that. Now, obviously, once we've got that information in, the writing of the work package itself is not so different from doing it the way you currently would in a paper-based system. I mean, we still have the rich text tools that will mimic sort of some of the softwares you may have already used for writing things such as your scope of work. We can upload PDF documents if you're not interested in any sort of digital data transfers, for example. We can list out material requirements, create job cards, and even in a lot of these cases, we can just Excel import information in that you already have handy. So it's a very, very simplified process, and it's easy to get going with too.
Yeah, so the ability for MODS Connect WorkPack to be onboarded in the absence of data or in a landscape where there is negligible organized, accessible data, whilst at the same time serving to accumulate data as a project
Absolutely.
progresses is very important. And this leads me on to my next
Vital.
question that revolves around advanced work packaging. So
Sure.
obviously AWP is an efficiency enhancing project execution method. And it is often used in the same conversations when we talk about digital work packages. So can you talk about that interface, how digital work packages support AWP implementation, even in
Okay.
a brownfield context?
Sure. So let's start with the AWP concept, I suppose. The AWP it's a methodology, a philosophy that strives for basically just to create constraint-free execution. Okay, that's what we want, is readiness to begin the scope. And this is done through decomposition of the project into the work package, WBS and the work packages, into manageable chunks. So this manageable chunks are then monitored very, very closely for the constraint types, including things like your engineering deliverables, your materials, maybe predecessor work packages, resource requirements, permit requirements, all that kind of thing. And in the events that the expediting of these constraints fails, it's important that we're able to understand which scopes are ready to go so that we can move them into the correct schedule slot and therefore reduce non-productive time, and we can keep the workforce busy at all times. Now, the benefit, the really what we have here with digital work packs, specifically MODS Connect digital work packs, is the integration that it's got not only with the rest of the MODS Connect suite of modules. This includes the materials module for material management. This also powers the constraint management for materials. If you are using that module, there's other ways to do it as well. We've got our integrity module for joint integrity, and we've got our completions module for our ITRs, punches, handovers, all that kind of thing. Now, not only that, we do also have links with other systems. Obviously, we've talked about how this is a plug-and-play software, and it is. You can use it straight away, but we also have other things that we can link to as well, whether that be an ERP system, an EDMS, engineering systems, procurement systems. All of which can power the constraint management tools as well, really give you that benefit. So the point here is simple. AWP demands the use of digital work packs, and essentially just to make sure that the scope is ready and so that the schedule goes as planned.
Yeah, it seems to me that because MODS Connect WorkPack is capable of delivering efficiencies from the off, regardless as to the data environment, whether it's a data poor environment or a data abundant environment.
Absolutely.
It acts as, the potential ideal first step into a digital transformation journey
Absolutely.
for industrial projects, especially because, as you say, it can interconnect, MODS Connect, with other, functional elements such as materials management and when those elements are all working together, when you're accumulating data over the course of a project, and when your systems are talking together, your the power and the ability of the system just increases over time to deliver that AWP, the constraint-free project execution. It's really interesting. But are there any, features in particular that you find interesting, or what are your favorite elements of MODS Connect WorkPack?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the last couple of years, we've focused a little bit more around some of our AWP features. So MODS Connect WorkPack is is a brownfield tool. So the typical norm really within the industry is that there are greenfield DWP tools that then change into brownfields. However, we kind of went the opposite way. We started with brownfield, which is where mods come from, and then we went ahead and expanded into sort of the AWP methodologies too. So some of those features that we've introduced include things like WorkPack scheduling. We've got WorkPack constraint management tools, 3D tag progress tools, so that we can do all of our 3D, 4D reality reporting based on that. And then this is all powered from the information that you put into the WorkPack while you're writing it. And that's the most important thing, I guess, with the MODS Connect. It's a single point of entry for data. So you stick it in once and it's reused and recycled throughout the entire process. So yeah, it keeps the process simple, but keeps it effective at the same time.
Moving forward, what do you view as being next on the horizon in terms of, trends or development for these efficiency enhancing software systems?
Absolutely. So for MODS Connect and for many other work packaging systems out there, I guess the focus has been more around providing the ability to what we currently do in a digital format. Now, what we're seeing over the last 5-6 years maybe is the importance that's getting put on data. Okay, data is becoming key now. It's so important. And in MODS Connect, for example, we manage data, but what the future is for work packaging systems, and particularly MODS work packaging systems, would be around the data management, the master data management, the validation of the data, to really maximize the efficiency and the output of what you can get from the system. So it's no longer just an execution tool. It becomes so much bigger within the organization.
Yeah, I think MODS Connect WorkPack really fits that gap nicely, progressing projects, project teams, organizations from an environment of no data to a data-rich environment wherein they can start to leverage the potential of more advanced technologies for greater efficiencies, improved ROI. In terms of challenges onboarding new software tools like MODS Connect WorkPack, what have your observations been, and how should they be addressed?
Yeah, I guess implementation does come with challenges. It does all the time. The whole DX, digital transformation, it can be a scary journey for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of these workers and the end users have had a set way of doing things for a very long time, and it's worked for them. And now we're finding more efficient ways of doing what they've already been doing. I guess it's the transition period can be scary for many, but however, what mods do offer is digital consultancy. So we do our DX consultancy along with module support, which really does ease people into the role. But one of the pieces of advice that I'd probably give is the education to the end user of why they're doing what they're doing, which is really important in my mind. Unfortunately, sometimes the contract will be signed and there's not too much education that goes around the people that actually end up using the software. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, unfortunately. If people understand why they're doing what they're doing and the benefit that's going to come from this, it is a far smoother transition.
Yes, this is something we talk a lot about, how technology is important, of course. The systems are of paramount importance. They deliver the efficiencies, but people, the human element is really the make or break it element. And it is so important that users that users have agency in the onboarding of their new tools and systems, and that they're included. And the fact that MODS offers digital consultancy services in parallel to the software, it can really serve to sort of help hold hands through those critical digital transformation phases when changing mindsets is extremely important.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.